Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about strategic management. It's the playbook that explains why some companies just fade away, while others seem to build these massive, world-changing empires. What do they know that the rest of us don't? Well, let's find out.
So let's go back to 2008. Remember the financial crisis? It was chaos. Most of the business world was in an absolute freefall. But a few companies, they seemed to defy gravity. Apple's revenue jumped by over $8 billion. Walmart's net income soared past $12 billion. So how did they do it? This wasn't luck, and it wasn't just about working harder. It was about a fundamentally different way of thinking about their business and about the future itself.
And that big difference, it really boils down to this one core idea. You see, most companies are obsessed with efficiency. That's all about doing things right. Cutting costs, making processes faster, perfecting the system they already have. But the real winners, they focus on effectiveness, which is about doing the right things. They didn't just adapt to a changing world, they were the ones causing the change.
That mindset, it leads us straight to the first huge paradigm shift in modern strategy, moving away from just predicting the future to actually getting in there and creating it.
Okay, so the old way of doing things was called long-range planning. You'd look at your sales chart, you'd draw a line going up and to the right, and you'd plan for that. It basically assumes that tomorrow is just going to be a slightly better version of today. Strategic management completely throws that out the window. It's not about tweaking yesterday's trends, it's about creating entirely new opportunities. The future isn't something you just wait for, it's a territory that you can actually shape.
So what exactly is strategic management? Well, the formal definition calls it the art and science of making cross-functional decisions. Art and science is perfect because it's not just about crunching the numbers, it takes real creativity and intuition. And that phrase cross-functional, that is key. This isn't some plan cooked up by a few executives in a locked room. It's about getting marketing, finance, R&D, everyone, all rowing in the exact same direction.
But let's be real for a second. This is incredibly hard to do. As Machiavelli wrote like 500 years ago, trying to create a new order of things is dangerous. Why? Because the people who did well under the old system will fight you tooth and nail. And the people who might benefit from the new way, they're often, as he put it, lukewarm defenders. This is exactly why so many great companies get stuck in the past, even when they can see the writing on the wall.
And no force has created a new order of things more powerfully in our lifetime than this second massive shift, the online revolution.
If you only remember one thing about the internet's impact on business, make it this: power has shifted. It has moved from the corporate boardroom directly to the individual, to you. Before the internet, businesses controlled the information, the message, the price. That world is completely gone.
Think about it. In the old model, business was a monologue. A company would broadcast ads on a few TV channels, and that was that. Today, it's a giant global conversation. A customer can compare hundreds of products in seconds. They can connect with thousands of other people on social media and demand better service. Information isn't controlled anymore. It's been totally democratized. This new power dynamic created entirely new battlegrounds. And by 2009, one company had clearly won the fight for our attention online: Google. Owning 65% of the entire search market wasn't just about having a good search engine. It was a strategic position of almost unbelievable power. And they knew exactly how to use that power. This little snapshot from 2009 shows you their playbook. Google used its 65% dominance in search as a launchpad to directly attack every single one of Microsoft's core businesses. I mean, look at this. Even with less than 2% of the browser market and a tiny, tiny fraction of Office suites, they declared war. This wasn't random at all. It was a calculated, strategic move to leverage their strength in one area to create massive opportunities in others.
But a brilliant strategy like Google's isn't just a clever idea on a PowerPoint slide. For it to actually work, it has to be woven into the very fabric of the company. And that brings us to our third major shift: total system integration.
See, modern strategy isn't something handled by a strategy department. It's the process of getting every single part of the business, marketing, R&D, finance, operations, all aligned and working towards the same North Star. If your marketing team is out there selling a high-performance sports car, but your engineers are building a family sedan to save a few bucks, your strategy is broken. It has to be completely integrated.
And the whole point of all this integration, the ultimate goal, is to achieve what's called a sustainable competitive advantage. This is the holy grail. This advantage comes from being superior in one of three areas. You either have better resources, like some unique technology, better skills, like Apple's world-class design team, or a better position, like Google's dominance in search. The goal is to create an edge that is incredibly difficult for your rivals to copy.
And does it work? Oh yeah, it works. Just look at the financial impact here. Back in 2009, McDonald's market cap wasn't just a little bigger than its competitors. It was nearly 4 times larger than Yum Brands and over 20 times larger than Burger King. That is a staggering difference. And it isn't just about burgers and fries. It is the direct result of decades of a superior, integrated strategy in real estate, supply chain, marketing, and operations, all working together like a well-oiled machine.
So, how do you actually take these ideas and apply them? How do you go from all this theory to making your next strategic move? Well, it all boils down to a clear, repeatable process.
The whole thing really breaks down into 3 simple stages. First is formulation. This is where you decide what to do. It's your research, your brainstorming, your planning. Second is implementation. This is where you make it happen. You execute the plan. And finally, and this is maybe the most important, is evaluation. You're constantly monitoring your results and adapting your plan. This last step is crucial because it feeds right back into the first one, creating this continuous loop of improvement.
And that's the ultimate takeaway here. Effective strategy isn't some dusty document you create once and then stick on a shelf. It's a living, breathing process. It's a constant cycle of learning from your wins and your losses, adapting to a world that never stops changing, and most importantly, actively building the future that you want for your organization.
So that leaves us with one final question for you to really think about. Based on these massive shifts, creating the future, the online revolution, total integration, what is the one single biggest opportunity your organization is completely ignoring right now? Or, maybe even more important, what's the single biggest threat that's out there that nobody is even talking about yet? Really think about that. Because the answer, that's where your next strategic move begins.